privileged prisoners. www.acnh.com Privileged Prisonerstha jails of India are a different kind of world with their own ecosystem. There is even a rate card inside penitentiaries for comforts, ranging from a BD to drugs and cell phones to protection from gangs. What a Karnataka prison official has brought out in her exposes an unimaginable world of privileges that exists inside for those with the capacity to offer bigger bribes running into crores of rupees for prison officials. The case of high-profile prisoner V.K. Shashikala, the ruling AIADMK's General Secretary, highlights all that is wrong with the system. If the images and videos that are being leaked to the media are true, Ms. Shashikala is a VVIP who commands all comforts, including a private suite of 5 cells with a conference area, and the stamp paper scamster Abdul Karim Telgi is as snug as one can be in incarceration. Caught on the wrong foot by the brave unmasking, the Karnataka government has ordered an inquiry by an IAS officer. There will always be room to doubt if a fellow administrator will bring out the truth without fear or favor. Will the probe dare to go beyond the geographical confiner of Parappanar Agrahara jail and seek to find out whether such stunning privileges did, indeed, flow from higher patronage? While transfers of the whistleblower and the top jail officials cannot be questioned because this may be viewed as necessary for any probe to be fair, the extent of the scams in the world behind closed iron doors is a reflection on governance of a prison system which, when officials are not enriched, can present inhuman conditions to ordinary inmates. The brazen manner in which those with access to money offer cash for comforts is the very negation of the principle of sending offenders to prison. India may need honest officials more than an ancient cellular Andaman jail or an Alcatraz island to rein in the corruptors. Comments. Visit website. A first, PM, Pres, VP all from the RSS stable. www.acnh.com A first, PM, Pres, VP all from the RSS stable. The name of the BJP's candidate for Vice President, M. Venkaiah Naidu, Union Minister and an old RSS hand from Andhra Pradesh, was announced on Monday even as the President of India was being elected. Ramnath Kovind, BJP's candidate for the presidency, is thought to be so far ahead of the opposition candidate Meera Kumar in the electoral college votes that Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered his congratulations to Mr. Kovind in advance. When names of the two candidates first emerged, pro-BJP voices held that Mr. Kovind was a top-class personality and had the necessary qualifications. In light of this, it was argued, the Congress should not have offered a contest although Ms. Kumar's personality or qualifications were not questioned, and that a unanimously elected first citizen might have been the ideal outcome. In any case, their argument ran, why contest when defeat is certain? From the start, this was a questionable argument, meant to obscure Mr. Kovind's deep RSS background. The so-called Dalit versus Dalit race was also a diversion promoted to further the same objective, and many non-suspecting individuals bought into it. The respective merits of the two candidates were also brought into the equation by others. Ms. Kumara and Congress chief Sonia Gandhi best summed up the reality by declaring it a contest of ideologies. The expression does call a spade a spade. The facts are clear. For the first time since independence, the stamp of Hindutva would be left in Rashtrapati Bhavan at the same time as a Hindutva leader is Prime Minister. This can conceivably raise doubts about whether the present constitution, to which Hindutva votaries have been opposed from the beginning, can be preserved in its spirit. When an electoral challenge is offered in such a situation, and in the context of severe electoral disadvantage, it signifies that voices which question the ruling establishment and its presiding deities are alive. The critical importance of this for a democracy can hardly be overstated. It is interesting that when the Congress and its opposition partners named Gopal Krishna Gandhi, the distinguished grandson of Mahatma Gandhi and former governor of West Bengal, the argument of supporting a good, solid candidate did not issue from the supporters of the RSS BJP establishment. It was self-evident that it was hard to think of a more suitable candidate than Mr. Gandhi, a sensitive writer, a former civil servant and diplomat, and a man of probity whose intellectual personality challenges the Hindutva vision of India. However, for ideological and political reasons alone, the BJP's choice fell on one of the most steeled of RSS background leaders, whose accomplishments outside of BJP politics are, alas, yet to be advertised. The country will soon have the PM, President, and Vice President all from the RSS stables, an extraordinary achievement for the religious far right. Comments visit website.